Lulli gets electrocuted and starts hearing people's thoughts. While it helps her listen to people, she can't hear the thoughts of her boyfriend, Diego, who doesn't remember that he broke up with her. Lulli is excited about becoming a medical student the following day. She has always dreamt of being a doctor. She comes to a bar with her boyfriend, Diego, and tries to decide what to eat. Diego is thinking about quitting medical college, but Lulli dismisses the topic and dances with him. Diego keeps trying to talk to her while she browses the menu. Lulli is irritated about him repeating the same thing. He doesn't want to move back with his mom in Canada because he knows it's best to graduate in town because of his dad's practicing clients. Satisfied that he understands that becoming a doctor is important, Lulli goes back to the menu. Diego feels pain in his thigh, but Lulli takes that as an opportunity to order chicken thighs. She's not getting the point. Lulli gets jealous of Diego talking to Paula, who is their professor for the internship. Lulli asks him to drop out if he wants and thinks he shouldn't be a doctor. She realizes Diego is offended and apologizes for being insensitive. Diego admires that Lulli is driven, but he needs her to understand that everyone is not like her. He feels hurt that food is more important than his life crisis. When their friend Vanessa comes to check on them, Diego starts feeling sick. Lulli forgot that he's allergic to shrimp and didn't realize Diego had it. In the ambulance, Diego clarifies that he has mentioned his allergies many times. Lulli never listens, so she assumed he was allergic to peanuts. When Lulli takes that moment to discuss their anniversary plans, Diego breaks up with her. Lulli's mother, Miriam, wakes her up in the morning when she's late for her first day. Miriam is proud of her following the path to become a doctor. Her friend Julio is waiting outside and wants to talk, but Lulli is in a hurry to reach the hospital. When an old lady boards the bus, Lulli is worried she will have to get up if no one else does. When someone else vacates their seat for her, Lulli settles down and remembers her childhood. She was always quick to discuss her dreams about becoming a surgeon. Young Lulli wants to make her parents proud, even when someone teases her for not having a father. When she arrives, Vanessa wonders if Diego is joining them. Lulli thinks he has dropped out, but spots him talking to Paula. She follows them to the locker and asks about his health. While she thinks he's joining college because of Paula, Diego insists he's doing this for himself. Paula starts training the interns and advises them to always listen to what she has to say. She knows they will need supervision from doctors before they do anything themselves. She takes them to an infirmary and shows them around. Lulli sneaks out of the group when she learns that a patient is experiencing cramps. Paula catches her trying to give the patient a vial. Paula scolds her for trying to inject the patient without checking his file for allergies. The situation could have gotten worse, so Lulli apologizes for her carelessness. Their next patient is Oscar, who was admitted with slurred speech and a lack of motor coordination. Elena, another intern, thinks it's because of excessive alcohol. Oscar has been sober for a year, so Paula asks them to think of a different diagnosis. Diego and Lulli realize that he had a stroke that affected the cerebellum. Paula is impressed with their diagnosis and asks them to confirm it with an MRI. Lulli keeps trying to console Oscar and notices that his eyes look like her dad's. They take him to the MRI machine and ask him to press a ball if he wants them to stop. While Lulli is upset about Diego flirting with Paula, he is mad at her for forgetting his shrimp allergy. When the screen starts fluctuating, the man monitoring it decides to call maintenance. Lulli is worried about Oscar needing something in the machine all alone. Diego suggests that they should wait for the man to come back, but Lulli is worried when she notices that Oscar's feet are moving. She goes inside to check on him while Diego keeps warning her against touching the machine. Lulli doesn't listen, and they're both blasted away from the machine. When Lulli wakes up, she hears Vanessa thinking she has bad skin. She doesn't understand she can hear Vanessa's thoughts, but her mouth isn't moving either. Vanessa assures her that Oscar is fine, despite another stroke. In the meantime, Lulli and Diego have been admitted for observation. She watches Paula with Diego and wonders if Paula will expel her, so she gets Diego all to herself. Vanessa asks her to calm down, but her thoughts say otherwise. Vanessa believes there's something between Paula and Diego too. Lulli assumes Vanessa said that out loud, but Vanessa doesn't understand what she's talking about. Lulli asks Vanessa if she thinks Diego is dating Paula. While she assures Lulli he is not, she thinks they surely are. Lulli finally realizes that she's listening to Vanessa's thoughts and gets scared. When Vanessa goes to inform Paula about Lulli waking up, Lulli runs away with her stuff. She finds Oscar and assures him they will take care of him. When she touches him, she hears him thinking about how medicine can't heal him. On her way out, she bumps into Elena, who is thinking about Ricardo. When she boards a bus, she hears a random woman thinking about her wedding ring. She also bumps into the old lady she always vacates her seat for. When she hears her wondering if someone will get up for her, Lulli shouts at all passengers to show some courtesy. She comes to watch Julio's volleyball game. His coach wants Julio to be a starter for the finals. Julio pretends to have an injury in his leg so that Max can be the starter. Lulli can tell from Julio's thoughts that he is faking the injury. When she listens more to his thoughts, she realizes that he is worried about a huge crowd judging him. She consoles him because he's scared, but he doesn't believe she can hear thoughts. When he drops her home, Miriam is worried because Lulli didn't answer her calls. Lulli asks her to not worry, but she can hear Miriam's thoughts about how alone Lulli is. She also realizes that Miriam knows about her running away from the hospital, and that Vanessa told her. Miriam suggests that Julio and Lulli should date again. Julio jokes about it, but Lulli wonders why they can't be together. She assumes he thinks she's bossy, but he assures her she's his best friend. Since he's thinking about him being gay, Lulli feels terrible for not understanding that sooner. He finally processes that she can hear thoughts, and they decide to keep each other's secrets safe. When Vanessa barges in and assumes they were making out, Julio and Lulli blurt out each other's secrets. Lulli repeats Vanessa's exact thoughts to convince her about her mind reading. Vanessa offers to support Julio if he decides to come out. Julio doesn't want to because the guys he plays volleyball with are homophobic. Lulli asks him to at least not fake his injury. She wants to get rid of the mind-reading problem, but Vanessa thinks of it as a superpower. She suggests that Lulli can use it to find out if Paula has feelings for Diego. Lulli doesn't hate the idea and wants to figure out if Diego can read minds like her too. Lulli is surprised to see Diego's dad, Dr. Cesar, at the hospital. Diego finds Lulli and assumes she ran away yesterday to study. She touches his arm to hear his thoughts, but she doesn't get anything. He kisses her and confesses his love for her. She wonders if he's still angry, but he doesn't understand why. Paula checks on Lulli's health and informs her about Diego's rare case of amnesia. He only doesn't remember any events of yesterday before the shock. Lulli touches her and learns that Paula thinks of Diego as her son. Diego doesn't remember that they broke up, and Lulli doesn't want to tell him either. Diego comes to kiss Lulli again, so Vanessa communicates with Lulli through her thoughts. She asks Lulli to enjoy Diego's affections and find out if Ricardo likes her back. Paula calls the interns to examine more patients. Mara feels tired all the time, so Elena assumes she has mononucleosis. Lulli decides to dig deeper and asks Mara if she recently played with cats. She gets a confirmation from her thoughts and takes Mara aside. Mara doesn't want to admit that she played with cats because her husband, Geraldo, is allergic. She also doesn't want him to know that she went over to her ex's place for dinner. From this information, Lulli diagnoses her with toxoplasmosis. While Paola is proud of her, Lulli pretends she knew all this because of a sixth sense. While Vanessa celebrates her friend being a genius, Elena wonders how a genius can be her friend. Lulli rants to Vanessa about how hard it is to read people's minds. Vanessa takes her for a spiritual consultation to help her out. When the psychic offers to read Lulli's palm, she shares that she can read people's minds. Lulli realizes the psychic is a fraud from her thoughts and runs away. They all meet at the bar again, where Vanessa gets jealous about Elena sitting with Ricardo. When Vanessa joins the table, Elena seems irritated and walks off. Ricardo informs her that Elena is low because she's supposed to quit college. Vanessa can't hide her happiness and tries to flirt with Ricardo. Julio soon joins them and asks if they need drinks. Lulli tries to order something and promises not to get shrimp. This makes Diego remember things, but he's not sure what the flashback is about. He feels a little out of breath in general. Vanessa informs Ricardo and Julio that she's waiting outside. Elena shares that her parents want her to move to Portugal with them. Elena and Vanessa don't like each other but decide not to fight because of a guy. They're invited inside to watch Ricardo singing, who keeps locking eyes with Julio. Diego asks Lulli to step out with him so they can celebrate their anniversary. He cooks for her since his father is out on a trip for the whole week. He has been feeling anxious since he woke up from the shock. He's still glad to be with Lulli and admires how well she listens to everyone at the hospital. When Diego gets out of the shower in the morning, Dr. Cesar is back. Diego apologizes for the awkwardness, but Lulli just had the best night of her life. When they join Cesar for a meal, he seems to think Diego is very irresponsible. Lulli admires his work, but she learns from his thoughts that he doesn't think she can be a surgeon. When she praises Paula, Cesar seems to think she's only good for a public hospital. Diego points out that they face real problems there. Cesar asks Diego not to be so idealistic that he forgets to earn money. Diego wants to earn respect by doing good and admires someone like Paula. Cesar wants Diego to use his family name, but Diego would rather have a genuine and honest father. On their way to the hospital, Vanessa asks for Lulli's help. Elena is now staying with her and knows that Ricardo is single. Vanessa asks Lulli to find out if Ricardo likes her. Lulli and Vanessa join Ricardo as they all wait for Julio to get his MRI. Julio apparently confessed to Ricardo about his injury, so Ricardo wants to make sure they medically clear him to play the finals. He knows that Julio is scared, but encouraged him to face the crowd. Vanessa thinks he's a great man and asks him to check Lulli's heartbeat. With his touch, Lulli learns something that Ricardo doesn't want anyone to know. Diego comes to get Lulli to check on Oscar. When she asks if he has been taking his pills, she learns from his thoughts that he hasn't. Lulli informs Paula about a hunch with the pills. Paula decides to change his meds to EV and thinks he might need surgery. Diego feels determined to get his son so he can sign off on it. Diego and Lulli approach his son Roberto and assure him that Oscar has been sober for a while. Roberto is furious at Oscar for being an alcoholic and absent father. Diego shares the story about his own absent father but knows that he loves him despite everything. He knows Oscar loves Roberto too and convinces him to sign for Oscar's surgery. Roberto is glad he authorized the surgery because he gets to hug Oscar when he comes out of it. Lulli decides to tell Miriam about her mind-reading issue. She uses the same process of giving a demo to convince her. She thanks Miriam for always cheering her on while life gets her down. Her friends bring her to Julio's game, after which they watch Ricardo and Julio talking. Vanessa realizes what Lulli already knew about Ricardo being gay and liking Julio. Diego is glad that he pushed Ricardo for Oscar's surgery and helped him. As he celebrates with Lulli, he remembers everything from that day about their breakup. He's angry at Lulli for not telling him about this earlier. Lulli explains that she didn't want to lose him again. Something else is going on with Diego, because he passes out right there. Lulli calls Paula for help and starts remembering what Diego told her about the pain in his leg. She realizes he has a pulmonary embolism and asks Paula to take him straight to surgery. Paula trusts her instincts and learns from a test that he does need surgery. Lulli decides to stick around even when they shock Diego to revive him. Lulli feels the shock too, but Vanessa picks her up and takes her outside. When Vanessa consoles her, Lulli realizes that the shock made her lose the mind-reading power. After the operation, Cesar rushes to meet Diego when Lulli is with him. He assures Diego that he loves him, and Paula asks them to thank Lulli for saving his life. Lulli insists that Diego was saved because of Paula's skills as a surgeon. When Paula takes Cesar outside to discuss Diego's case, Lulli claims that she listened to him this time and kisses him. 2 years later, Lulli knows on their graduation that Diego will be the best surgeon. Lulli has decided to specialize in people and has her own clinic soon. Mrs. Dolores from the bus drops by for a consultation. Lulli is warm with her and knows all about her family's story.